Hi Ray, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. In a bit of pain though.
Just in some pain. Okay, your back still bugging you?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, well, I'm really glad that you're here at PT today. I think there's a lot that we can do to help you out. Just looking at your history, I've seen that you've seen physical therapy before. You've tried a lot of things and you haven't found any relief.
No.
Okay, well, just looking at based upon what they did with you, that's just a little bit of things that we can do here at PT. So there's a lot of other things I'd like to try with you, try to get your back pain down, get you gardening, cycling, things you like to do again.
Sounds good.
All right, so before we get into specifics on the things that I want to try with you, there's just a couple components that I think that are contributing to your pain that I would like us to talk about and understand so we can kind of get on the same page. The easiest way I think I can explain this to you is through a story. That way we both can have the same picture, both understand what's kind of going on in your back, going on in your body. Does that sound okay?
That sounds good.
Okay, so to begin, research has proven and defined pain to be an unpleasant bodily sensation caused by physical discomfort and emotional distress, and it typically results from a bodily disorder such as injury, tissue damage, disease, or it can serve as a warning signal to alter or basically to warn your body of potential damage. And so here's my little story. It's a little man walking. Okay, so he's walking along the path. You can imagine that you're this little man if you want. But he comes upon a nail and he sees it sticking up out of the ground. So this person walking, he sees this nail, and what it does in your body is it causes a noxious stimulus. And another word for noxious stimulus is just perceived danger. So you see this nail and your body's like, oh, yep, there's a nail there. So by definition, a noxious stimulus is a stimulus that is damaging or it threatens to damage normal tissues. So examples are, he steps on the nail, there's actual tissue damage that causes a noxious stimuli. Or you see the nail, it's perceived as danger, and that also causes the exact same reaction in the body, a noxious stimulus. So because both of these examples cause the exact same reaction in your body, whether it's just the perceived damage or the actual damage, this noxious stimuli is actually going to go activate a nociceptive nerve. This is my little nerve for you. Okay, so that guy has been activated. And so what the nerve does is it goes up your spinal cord and it goes to your brain. Here's our brain. He's in charge of everything. And it tells the brain that there's damage. It warns the body that there's damage. So the brain responds, and in order to minimize this damage and protect the body part, it sends down pain signals to our body. So it's like, you know, in this example, it sends pain signals down to the foot and tells us not to step with that foot. Regardless if you stepped on the nail or not, or if you did step on the nail, it doesn't want you to injure it anymore. So essentially, regardless if the nail was stepped on or not, we both can agree that that person's going to feel pain. On the same page?
Yeah.
If the noxious stimulus happened. So I know there's a lot of questions as to how this all works with your body. So what I want you to understand is that I'm not saying that pain is just in your head, that it's not real. There are real chemical reactions going through your body that are making you feel pain, even if there's no injury present at all. So for example, say there's a burning building, this place is on fire, and you're running and you roll your ankle. Well, you're still going to get out of that building and you're not going to realize that you rolled your ankle until you're safe. And that's because your brain overrode those signals because you need to survive. It doesn't want you just to stop and fall and burn to death, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so our brain's a very powerful thing, and that's what I'm trying to say is that there's all these changes that can happen based off of the nerves and the signals that we're receiving in our body. And so science has basically taken all of this knowledge, and it's proven that the amount of intensity of pain that you feel is not an indication of the amount of pain that you need to feel tomorrow. There's ways we can turn off this pain cycle and that we can get these nerves to calm down that are, constantly sending signals like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing is that there's a lot of different kinds of pain. So there's acute pain, which is by definition reflection of actual tissue damage or an injury. And then there's also chronic pain, which is less frequently related to tissue injury or damage. And instead, it's linked to other factors such as chronic inflammation, changes in nerve sensitivity, emotions, prior traumatic injury, and then changes that occur in your brain, which is more of the type of pain that like I think we're dealing with in your back. You know, you've been having this pain for so long, and I think that's more like a chronic pain state. Makes sense? Okay, so another thing is I know your doctors told you that you had positive findings in your MRI. So there's a ton of studies out there that have shown that just because you have, you know, imaging and these positive findings in your MRI, it doesn't mean that there's necessarily an actual injury going on there. And so it's just, I mean, you can think about it, natural aging, your skin wrinkles as you get older. So we kind of have the same thing happening within our body and our tissues. You just get older, natural wear and tear, but that doesn't mean injury necessarily. And so I think that it would be great, you know, if we could save you costs on imaging, costs on surgery, or even medications that have these crazy risk factors, and just see if we can stop that pain cycle going on in your back and see if we can take it from that route. If
That'd be
that sounds
great.
good to you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. Well, basically, I think ways that we can do this is obviously you want to stimulate your body's own danger reduction pathways and get that pain cycle going through. And we can do different things like mobilization, stretches, get you up and moving. All right. Sounds good.